My name's Kieran. I'm 23 years old, and I'm a drummer in the Fresh Like Dexie band. But I also play in a couple of other bands at the moment. So there's a couple of wedding bands I play in as well. Right, so I'll go to the car. Right. So yeah, I've got a Fresh Like Dexie gig tonight. Thankfully there's a kit supplied tonight, so I've just got to bring what they call the breakables, which is your cymbals and your snare drum. They're kind of the expensive, as well as like kind of your own sound, I guess. You can have metal snare drums, wooden snare drums, and different types of cymbals. So this is like 5-6 years of collecting. Maybe I'll show you them later. But they're also quite, as I say, quite expensive. So generally drummers will, they can supply like the kick drum and the toms, but they say bring your own snare drum and cymbals. So pretty standard for me when I'm gigging to just bring this lot. So I'm going into Brighton now, to a pub called the North Lane Brew House. I'm playing there tonight with my band Fresh Like Dexie. I have no idea how many people are going to be there, but hopefully there's going to be a decent crowd.
My name's Cameron Williams Hill. I'm 23 and I play keyboards and I songwrite and compose music in the band. A few of us met, like me and the drummer and the singer met at college, but sort of the band as a whole, I'd say, came together at BIM in Brighton, the music university, and we were all on different courses, so it wasn't like we were on the same course, but we kind of just came together because we saw each other play. We thought each one was really good, and I guess we all just sort of shared similar interests in music. Like we all have different tastes as well, but we all share like common musical interests as well, and that sort of was a big factor in sort of just coming together, because there's quite a lot of us, so there's always going to be a little bit of difference in that. At school there wasn't really many other people that did music, so I did it with who was there, but it was more of a hobby. And then when I went to college I did a music course, but still didn't think I'd do it full time. I was more likely, at the time, thinking I was going to be an artist or something. I was going to do design or like architecture. But then I sort of discovered that I could go to music uni, because our college course was like linked up with this uni course. So I thought, okay, well maybe I'll do that, because it seems like I can do it. And I didn't really realise there was much of a career in it until I was at college, and then it kind of just made sense because it was the thing I was best at college. And then when I went to uni, it was definitely very obvious that that's what I wanted to do.
I started drumming when I was 11 years old. The story behind that is I just started secondary school, and in music class one day they had a bunch of local music teachers come in to show you like, oh, this is the violin, this is the trumpet. But have a go, and if you want to take like lessons after school. I was quite like an energetic child, so anything that was quite loud, I quite enjoyed the fact that I can make a lot of noise. I guess the point where I started to really take music seriously and think about doing it as a career. When I started to gig, that's when I kind of started to find a passion, I guess, for making people dance with my drumming. It kind of had a point to it now. It was like, cool, I can play this beat, but then when I go and put it on a stage, people can enjoy it. So I started to look at like going to college and stuff to hone my skills and learn how to actually go about making a living from entertaining people.
It's a bit of a cramped gig.
Great start, mate. Great start.
I often determine the success on how the crowd reacted, which is a funny one because sometimes a really bad band will have a good crowd reaction, but if the crowd enjoyed it, then it's a successful gig, I guess. There is a bit of me that determines it on how well I played. If I make a mistake, I'm a bit gutted, but I'm getting better at like just shrugging it off and being like it happens. But yeah, if I play the songs well, if I'm happy with, because sometimes like certain portions of a song will be like improvised, just like little fills, and if like the guitar player is taking a solo and I'm accompanying him, that can be different every night. So if I'm really happy with how I kind of improvise, like I really want to have like a good ear as a musician. That's what I admire in a lot of my idols, how well they can react to how the other musicians are playing. So if I feel I did a good job at like reacting to the other musicians in my band and the crowd were enjoying it, if I tick those two things, then it's a successful gig for me.
Brighton music scene's good. There's a lot of bands, a lot of competition. I'd say there's maybe too many bands for the size of it. And I don't mean that bands should stop, obviously. Like, the competition is good, but I'd say even though there's lots of venues, like apparently I heard somewhere that it has like the most clubs in like mile radiuses at a time. But it's still pretty small for what, like if you're in London, there's a lot of room. Even though there are a lot of bands, but in Brighton it feels like there's almost as many bands as there are in London, and it's a really small space. So if you play a gig, you're competing with like 6 other nights, which is good. That's not so much a negative, but it definitely makes it harder to get a real like following. But yeah, I'd say it's healthy competition in Brighton, but I'd sometimes say it can be very hard.
When you speak, I swear I open up my mouth and speak. I sold out on the floor, it's like you open the door and I can till the day is done. It baby man, I like I'm blonde and I'm stuck on every word you say. Sucking and honey, I'm your president, living in your bubble head. Every night they take away the feeling that I'm feeling today. Okay, oh yeah, I'm feeling great. It's doing nerves, I swear I can feel it vibrate. It's hypnotising every vibe I'm going from. She's surrounded just one floor, the sun, the moon, the earth, the sky, the sun, the moon, the earth, the sky.
in my position, I'm the leader of the band as such. So I guess hardships can always be organising everyone to be somewhere at once, especially when you get into a band as many people as us. But that's sort of something that's quite necessary. I guess hardships that you kind of wish don't happen. I don't know, playing like gigs where you feel like you're promoting the gig more than the promoter is. I guess like general musical biases, so like when you're talking to people that only listen to one thing and they won't listen to anything else. But overall I'd say that every sort of like major thing that's hard is always just works to strengthen what you do as a musician. So off the top of my head I can't think of anything that is just like downright awful. Everything sort of happens and sort of deal with it in the way we do of it best. I still try to do art and stuff from time to time. Like I design all our band stuff, and there was a while where I was trying to design other band stuff, but music kind of took over. So music's always kind of been like the main thing. I've tried a few different parts of music where maybe I haven't pursued it or put it on like standstill for a bit. Like I was trying to do music for video games, and it's still something I want to do. I've kind of put it a bit on the other back of my mind at the moment because I've got the band to think about, and I'm trying to do a few other things as well.
I would say that music has affected my life in that when I started drumming at 11, it ended up affecting who I ended up becoming friends with, and a lot of the friends I made when I was 11, I'm still really good friends with now. It certainly changed the way I thought as well. Once I got into music, suddenly I'd say about 50% of what I was thinking about, or if not more, just became music. Like, as I said, I'd watch loads of documentaries on music. I would have Kerrang TV on every time I got home from school. I'd just kind of put it on and see what they were playing, hear new music. Like I said, that's kind of how I got into a few artists, was from watching the music television a lot, back when it was still kind of relevant. Now it's all YouTube, I guess. In like when I'm relaxing and after a long day, for example, music is like one of my go-to forms of entertainment that can help my mood. So if I'm feeling sad, I'll put Radiohead on, or some like mellow jazz, and it's just it almost helps whatever I'm feeling sad about. Or if I'm feeling happy, I'm getting ready to go out, I'll put on some like upbeat house music, and it just amplifies that. I am also quite glad to be in this kind of industry as my career, because that's a good point. So like when I'm playing a gig and I'm looking out to the crowd and we're playing, like for example in one of my bands we do like some Motown music, and if I'm looking out and I see a group of older kind of people absolutely loving it, singing along and dancing, and there's like a big smile on their face, I get really happy. I want to be kind of bringing joy to them. I almost get a bit tearful sometimes when we kind of have that kind of reaction, playing well-known tunes, and it's bringing joy to other people. That means a lot to me.